outside of Ezekiel's temple and the priest's chambers. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 40, verses 48 to 49, the vestibule of Ezekiel's temple. Then he brought me to the vestibule of the temple, and measured the jabs of the vestibule, 5 cubits on either side, and the breadth of the gate was 14 cubits, and the side walls of the gate were 3 cubits on either side. The length of the vestibule was 20 cubits, and the breadth 12 cubits, and 10 steps led up to it, and there were pillars beside the jabs on either side. Chapter 41, verse 8 and verses 13 to 14, the temple platform. I saw also that the temple had a raised platform round about. The foundations of the side chambers measured a full reed of 6 long cubits. Then he measured the temple, 100 cubits long, and the yard and the building with its walls, 100 cubits long. Also the breadth of the east front of the temple and the yard, 100 cubits. Chapter 41, verses 15, the building facing the temple. Then he measured the length of the building facing the yard which was at the west, and its walls on either side, 100 cubits. Chapter 41, verses 1 to 10, the priest's chamber. Then he led me out into the inner court toward the north, and he brought me to the chambers which were opposite the temple yard, and opposite the building on the north. The length of the building was on the north side was 100 cubits, and the breadth 50 cubits. Adjoining the 20 cubits which belonged to the inner court and facing the pavement which belonged to the outer court was gallery against gallery in 3 stories, and before the chambers was a passage inward, 10 cubits wide and 100 cubits long, and their doors were on the north. Now the upper chambers were narrower, for the galleries took more away from them than the lower and middle chambers in the building. For they were in 3 stories, and they had no pillars like the pillars of the outer court. Hence the upper chambers were set back from the ground more than the lower and the middle ones. And there was a wall outside parallel to the chambers, toward the outer court, opposite the chambers, 50 cubits long. For the chambers on the outer court were 50 cubits long, while those opposite the temple were 100 cubits long. Below these chambers was an entrance on the east side, as one enters them from the outer court, where the building wall begins.